Hi, my name is Michelle and I'm with Taxpayer Pro Support. Today we'll be going over like a new user orientation of the ProWeb program. The URL that you'll be going to is online.taxpayerpro.com. When you first initially set up the program from your My Account, this login page will already be created. It should be the same login credentials as what you use for your My Account. So at this time, let's go ahead and enter in your username and password, and then log in. This year, a little bit differently, you're going to need to go in and send a verification code. Code is for your security. We want to make sure that you are the person that should be opening the program. So you can have that verification code sent either by email or by text. Once your text comes through or your email comes through, you'll enter in that 6-digit code and then click on Verify. Now we're in the program. So a few things in configurations that you should check on. Your office setup. You just want to come through here, make sure that you have your bank selected if you're offering bank products, if you have any sales tax. And also verify that your address and your phone number is all complete. Also in your configuration menu is your Ero Setup. Again, you're just going to come through here and verify that the information, the Ero name, the office identifier, if you have an EIN, your EFIN, and of course your name and address is completed. Your preparer setup, this is where you would go in to add your preparers. When you click on Add Preparer, your social security number is not required. You'll enter your name, last name, your default PIN. Your default PIN is your 5-digit number that represents your signature on your tax return, your 8879, and if you're offering bank products, your bank application. You'll need to enter in your PTIN. If you don't have a PTIN and you're a data entry only, make sure you check mark the box data entry only. Your preparer should have their email address and their cell phone number. This is so they can do the same as what we did when we first logged in. This verifies they are who they say they are and should be entering the program. You will create them a username and a password, and then you would just continue. Once you've entered in all your preparers, you can just click right here down at the bottom where it says Return, and it's going to take you back to your configuration menu. Next is your fee setup. You can charge a minimum prepare fee, or you can go through and choose your forms or schedules by federal, by state, and enter in the amounts per form, per schedule that you want to charge. Once you're finished, you'll just go ahead and click on Return, and then you've completed your fee setup. There's fees, discounts. Just click on to add a custom fee or to add a custom discount. You can make it charged by default, allowed to be removed when charged by default. You can edit it on the return itself. I recommend going ahead and checking all three if you're going to charge by default, just in case you want to go in there and remove it when you're actually doing the tax return itself. Once you're finished, you just click on Continue. In this case, we're going to click on Cancel. This one's already been set up, so I'm just going to click on Edit. And again, you can just come in here and click. Same thing for your custom. You just add, This one here I'm going to edit. Name your discount and how you want to charge. Once you've entered in your custom fees and your custom discounts, you can go ahead and click on Return. Back to your configuration menu. Your security templates. If you're having multiple preparers in your office, you'll want to set up your security templates. These templates will allow you to localize what parts of the program you want your preparer to have access to. Of course, in setting this up, you want to make sure that you have one for an administrator. And every box checked, that way you can utilize everything within inside the program. If you want to name one limited preparer, junior preparer, again, these templates you can name however you'd like, simply by clicking on Add, and then removing the check marks next to where you don't want your preparers to be able to access. Once your templates are completed, you can go to Assign. And then you can assign, say for instance, administrator. Your administrator, I want this preparer to have access to it. Once you've checked it, continue. And then you can move to the next preparer template. And then you can go ahead and assign. If you don't have any, you're going to just click on Back. And then we're back to the configuration menu. I'm just going to touch a little bit on your question templates, taxpayer profile, and the consent form. Your question templates. These are questions that you may want to set up to allow your preparers to ask questions to the client. This is not something that is required. This is usually for your inexperienced preparers that you want to make sure that they ask every question possible to the client. You just would click on Add, enter in your question, and if this is required to be answered, you would check mark your question, you would add the answer, and then save. So when you're inside the tax return and you're on the Efile page, these questions must be answered in order for you to continue on with the return. Taxpayer Profile, those are more for profiling for report purposes. You can go in there and mark the ones that are head of household, or you can choose one that has EIC. Again, these are just for reports for running, so you can get an idea of how many returns had the head of household, had EIC, had Schedule C, and so on. Your consent forms, if you're offering bank products, the program already adds the disclosure and the consent to use for your bank. This would be in addition to that if you have an insurance company and you're offering insurance to your client, you can set up an additional consent. You would just click your Add Consent Form, name it, and of course a description. Also the description, you have to, if it's required for e-filing, if to display the disclosure limitations, and then you have to enter in the consent terms. So this is something that you're going to make up yourself. You'll click on Save. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Back. We're going to go back again. And then we're back at the configuration main menu. Your print sets. The program automatically has 1 copy federal and state, 2 copy federal and state, federal only, 1040 only, state only, and so on. You can come in here and create an additional print set. Say if you want one that just prints the client letter or Form 8962, you would just go in here and add, name your print set, and then find the documents that you would like to add to it, or your forms or your schedules. Alright, we're going to go ahead and go back to our configuration menu. Your tags are ones that you want to create to put on returns that you maybe need additional information for. Are waiting for additional documents, review return, and you would just click the tag that you're looking for, the name, like this one says awaiting additional docs, and then you just click on add, and then you save changes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click back here on main menu. Take us back to our main welcome screen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and touch a little bit on starting a new return. We'll just click right here next to the select where it says start new 2017 tax return. You're going to go ahead and enter in the Social Security number. And confirm it. And then start return. If this return was found from last year, it'll go ahead and tell you right here that you have prior year data that you're able to pull forward. Of course, we're not ready with all the 2017 changes, so your little important message comes up, and we'll just go ahead and click on begin or continue. Choose the filing status, and then continue. And then, of course, you're going to enter in all your good information. Of course, all the pertinent information needs to be entered. If they can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return, if they're under the age of 18 and a full-time student, if the taxpayer is blind, deceased, if they want to contribute to the presidential election campaign fund, or if the taxpayer or spouse served in the combat zone during the tax year, these all would be checked for the appropriate selection. Enter in your address. And then, of course, the residency state and at least a daytime number. And continue. If you have any dependents, it'll bring you straight to your dependent screen. Once you've entered in the information and continue, it'll allow you to add an additional dependent on that menu. When you go ahead and continue, it'll bring you to your federal section, which is your income menu. Your Guide Me is a step-by-step guide that ensures accurate entry of your income tax return, or you can enter myself. And of course, your income menu here. If you click over here on the left hand side, you're on your menu option here, you can go to do your deductions. Same thing, it does have a guide me section, or you can enter myself. Under the deductions menu, you'll have your adjustments, your itemized deductions, and your credits. And then of course your other taxes menu, your payments and estimates, and miscellaneous forms. We'll click over here on your health insurance. This is your questionnaire. If your family had health insurance anytime during the year, of course you'll answer yes. The check mark this box does not want to compute shared responsibility payments. Did you purchase it through a marketplace or healthcare? By answering yes and continuing, you're going to verify your household members. It's going to want to know if you were insured the entire year. If not, click no. It'll allow you to select the months that you had insurance. Click continue. And then from there you'll select the actual months that you had your coverage. And then continue. If you received a 1095A, of course when you answer that question yes, it's going to ask the other appropriate questions. Are you required to repay? Is your household below 100% poverty? Do all forms 1095A include coverage January through December with no changes? This is if you had coverage for the whole year with the healthcare 1095A, and each amount on every column is the same. By answering yes, you only need to enter in line 33A, line 33B, and line 33C. If you answer that question no, then you can enter in the different amounts for each month for each column. Then you'll continue. If you know the monthly premium lowest bronze plan cost or the second lowest silver plan cost, you'll enter those amounts in. We also provide a link to obtain and determine whether there's an exemption coverage or the LCBP and the SLCSP. It's a mouthful to say. If you don't need those informations, you can just kind of continue through. Excuse me. If you have healthcare exemption certificate, you would answer that question yes, and then continue. The individual's name you'll select, then answer your appropriate question here. If the marketplace insured certificate for this exemption or going to apply for an exemption through the marketplace, and then the certificate number, and if this was for the full year or specific months that this exemption certificate was applied for. These here are your types of exemption. Once you finish, you can go ahead and continue. And we'll continue again. And then right now for 2017, the states are unavailable, so this message will prompt. However, if you do continue, it brings you to your calculation summary page. You can view and print the return from here. You can also view your 1040. If you need to make any changes to the 1040, you can, however, come in here and select, say, line 48 if you have foreign tax credit, and it'll take you back to that income 1116 credits menu. If you're final with the return finished, we're going to go ahead and click on continue. And this brings you up to your Efile page. On your Efile page, you'll select your federal return type. Depending on the type, if it's a bank product, your Efile page will allow you to enter in all the banking information required, like your driver's license. From this menu, you also will enter in your tax preparation fees. If you don't already currently have them in configuration, you can enter those in as your prepare fees. If there is information in there, it'll pull that amount. This one here, in my example, I actually have sales tax, so it actually calculates the sales tax as well. I have custom questions in here, so I answer my questions. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. If you're missing information, the program will prompt. In this case, I forgot my primary email address. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. This is not a bank product, so it's going to go ahead and give you a warning, let you know that you need to collect your fees before the return is e-filed. On your submission page, you can print the return, and you can also choose to email an encrypted PDF of that return. An encrypted email, in order for your client to open it, they will need to enter in the last four of their primary Social Security number. Once you've verified all information is correct, you can go ahead and transmit the return to the IRS. Now, of course, since we're not live with the IRS, it's going to only give you the option to save and exit the return. And of course, it takes you back to your welcome page. Okay, just a few other things I'm going to touch on today. Your client search. Your client search will allow you to go back into the returns that you've already created, that are in process. It'll also show your status if you've transmitted the return and it's been accepted or if it's been rejected. If it's been rejected, there's a couple different ways that you can check the client status. One would be to click on Tools and then choosing Client Status. From inside Client Status, it will also allow you to enter the return, so if you need to make the changes. Also on the left hand side here, you can click on Client Status. It'll take you back into the same menu here, your client status list. You can select the return, scan documents. Also on the client search menu, that tools will also allow you to scan documents inside the return, also allow you to email the return, mark it private, change preparer number, deactivate the return, and then if they've been pulled from our Taxes to Go app, you can chat with the client. If you're needing to do a prior year return, up here in the right corner, you'll click on Change Tax Year and select your year. It changes to the 2016 tax program, and everything on the welcome page is now for 2016. We'll bounce back over here to 2017. If a return has been set up for review purposes, you can utilize and access that return right here where it says review returns. It'll be in a green color if there's any waiting to be reviewed. Of course, your reports has your acknowledgments, state acknowledgments if you're offering bank products, your fee deposit, and so on. Now, because this is a web version, the program automatically, once you've transmitted the return, it will receive acknowledgments. Also, if there's any kind of problems with inside the return, or we need to put out a update, as we call it, on the program, then that will be done automatically for you as well. It's called a push. Those pushes are usually done early in the morning or late in the evening, so it doesn't disrupt the office hours. And then, of course, there's the transmission table. If you do not want to transmit the return from inside the return itself, you can send a bulk transmission. Inside transmission, this will allow you to add the returns that you're wanting to send to the IRS. Once you add returns, select the returns to add, and then the transmit, select the returns to IRS. And then, of course, if you're doing check printing, bank products, this will take you to that bank's menu to print those checks. Your import desktop returns, this would be if you have both the desktop version of the program as well as the ProWeb version here. In 2016, we introduced our Taxes to Go app. This year, we've kind of revamped it a little bit, and we've allowed you inside your My Account to change the Taxes to Go app to be more personable for your company. So it'll allow you to put your company's name as well as a logo if you'd like, and then it'll give a referral code. That referral code is what you're going to give your client to use when they go into their app store to download to their personal phone or their portable devices. On the standpoint of the taxpayer, once they've downloaded it, they'll go in, they'll create a little account, they'll enter their information, they'll take screenshots of their actual return documents, and then they'll submit it. Once they submit, because it is linked to your office, it'll show you an icon in the program here that says Taxes to Go Clients. When you click on Taxes to Go Clients, it'll show you the clients that have been imported, and then you'll just click on Claim. When you click on Claim, it should take you into that tax returns on the personal information menu for you to verify that information and kind of go through the return at that point. This one here, once I clicked on Claim, it's telling me that I have already used this social security number as an active social, so therefore I need to verify that this is the correct social for this return. At that point, you need to contact your client to make sure that an entry was not made by mistake. If a return is rejected, other than seeing the client status, we also have the rejected clients that will show here. And just like the message center, how it's got a number count, the same will be done for your rejection clients. Your message center will allow you to send messages to your other preparers. so y'all can talk back and forth through messaging. And last, but what I'm going to kind of touch up on, and I'm stumbling over my words, I apologize. Just this menu right here on the left hand side. Of course, your main menu at any point in time when you're in the return or in the configurations or in reports, you can click on main menu. That'll bring you back to your welcome page. We've already talked about your client status. Your IRS website actually takes you to the IRS website. Your e-file opt-out form. IRS mailing addresses. IRS publications, instructions, fill-in forms. Your lookup ADP W-2s and your lookup W-2s on a W-2 Express. These two functions are for your taxpayers. Lowe's, for instance, does their payroll through ADP. They give each employee their own username and password to look at any of their paycheck deposit information, as well as their W-2 information. So if your client comes in and has not received yet their W-2 or forgot it at home, if they're with a company that uses either ADP or W-2 Express, they can actually click on the ADP, enter in their username and password, and then allow them to access their W-2 for you to make the entry and complete their tax return. And of course, if you're using bank products, you'll see the consent to use and the consent, excuse me again, tongue-tied, to disclosure. And then your refund calculator is just type of a quick calc to kind of give a rough estimate on what the return will be for, whether they have a balance due or a refund. And it's just going in and putting basic information, family information, income, deductions, credits, and then what the results are. Again, this is just an estimate, not an actual guarantee. So make sure when you're showing that to your client that they know that it is just an estimate, because figures will change, like you know, according to how the return is when it's all said and done. And that concludes our new user orientation of the program. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to give the support a call at 706-868-0985. Have a great tax season. Good day.